Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and here I am with another video on React.js series. And this video is more of creating a new project. Okay, so because some of people have commented over and they have asked to create project in React. Okay, so this project will be exclusive on blog page. Okay, so we'll be creating here blog page using some dummy APIs. Okay, and this project I will create from scratch, so you will know everything about how to create project, how to structure your folders and files and everything, right? So in terms of packages, what kind of package is required to start up any kind of project, okay, from beginning. So all of that you will understand here in this video. So, and this video may go part wise, maybe like this part and another part on that, because definitely I don't want you to make this video very long. Okay, so if you like this videos or kind of content, please do like my channel and subscribe to my channel for upcoming videos. Okay, so great. So dummy JSON will help us on the API part, so where we'll be able to use couple of APIs. So we no need to create any kind of APIs backend like Node.js or Java or whatever it is. But yeah, so these are the available APIs, so we can directly use them by just calling this particular URL. Okay, so this will help us on the API side. Now in terms of project setup, so what we will do, we will use npx command. Okay, npx, I'll just increase the font. Yeah, npx react app and your project name. So navigate to wherever you wanted to create this project. Okay, project 01. Okay, so if you give this project name, automatically it will create whole project for you and install couple of basic dependencies which is required for React.js project. Okay, great. So we'll just wait for this to complete. Great. So once this is complete, right, so what we will do, we will open our, so we'll navigate to that folder first. So cd project 1. Okay, code dot, this command if you use, it will automatically open up the VS code for you. So you need to install this VS code so you need to install this VS code first, so that it will help you. So it will help you to so you guys need to install VS code for that. So I believe you have already installed it because in my previous video I have already told you to install this VS code, which will help us to create this project. So now I told you in beginning, so you can fetch the APIs using the fetch API, which is natively available with browser, okay, or JavaScript framework. So this fetch will not be using here because this is very basic, so we might require more customization towards APIs. So there is a package called Axios. So this Axios package will help us to call our APIs from server. Okay, so we will be installing this, so by copying this command. Okay, so npm is the package node package manager, where you find most of the libraries available. So, and you will find the commands, and also you will find documentation. Sometime you don't, but you can also navigate to their home page or repository page. So there you can get your information about that package if you wanted to understand how it works and how to install. So you can see down there we have all of these instructions to follow, right? So npm install Axios, or you can copy from there, it's fine. So you just need to paste and just do this hyphen save, so that it will add to your package JSON. Okay, I believe you have already seen my package JSON video. So yeah, so now you see we have this npm install Axios, and you will be able to find this here. Okay, so this Axios is there with us now. Okay, so what else we required? So now as we are going to start, so let's see if we need something like some kind of packages going forward in this package. So let's see if we required some kind of packages going forward in this project. So definitely we'll be keep installing, so it does not hamper anything. So we can start from here, right? Okay, so what we will do, let me start this server, npm start. So if you do npm start, it will open here Okay, so there is one more package which is Lodash, which might help us, okay, in terms of uh, dealing with array, okay, or array of objects. So why I'm saying that is, so if you just go to the documentation, so you will see a lot of these like concat. So you can easily concat some of the arrays, or can filter out, or you can find index of, so many these pre-made pre-made functions are available, which will help you to simplify your code, right? Slices, okay, short by index. So everything you will get to get like all simple use cases, or so it will cover all your basic functions, right? So like union by, all of that, like you can play with array, right? So whenever you have a lot of array to play in your application, so Lodash provide kind of overhead functions which you can use, right? Like find, filter, all of that is easier to use here, okay? So which can help us going forward in your project. So you want, you can use this, it's pretty much easy. Just want to tell you, if you have some hard time doing all of this, so you can at least use the Lodash, which will help you to work with your arrays, okay, or objects. So some people find hard to work with these things. So our application is working right now. So if you see our folder structure, it is pretty much simple as you see in the normal application, right? So I will just, I'll just close this, so I'll just hide this so that we have more space to understand our code. So now what you see, we have index.js, so let it be, okay, and we have this app.js. So app.js contain our what you say, the basic code. So one thing we required here is, let's create a folder structure, okay. And also I think we need to also install router, okay, because we definitely required a home page where you have some post, and then from there you have category post, then from there you have category detail page, right? So you definitely required this router. So let me create a folder first. So you create a folder, components, okay. So all of your components will go here, and then you create a pages. So if you have a pages folder, so these are the standard which you generally required on any project, okay. So then we need a layout folder. So there might be a different type of common layouts which is required, right? So which you can use here. Then you can use constant, okay. So you can have this constant folder where you will be defining your constant files, okay. And then you required a util, okay. So all of your utils will exist here, like Axios, Axios configuration. So there might be some kind of util methods you have created, so which might be a helper function for your application, right? So all of that you will be creating here. So that's how you define your folder structure, right? Okay. And some people also categorize between your APIs, so okay, so that's okay. If you want, you can do that, but pretty much easy for now what we are doing, okay. And let's go ahead and install React Router. So React Router version 6, okay. So now if you go to this React Router version 6, so you will see that this command will help you to install React Router 6. So, and I have already recorded a video on React Router version 6, so I think that will help you to understand React Router DOM, okay. So let me install this here. So let me close this and hyphen save. Okay, now this will add this router package to your JSON. Yeah, so you have it here, okay. And then okay, now you can start back your server. Very good. So so you have your this thing running. server running. So now app.js is there. So what will you do very first? So you'll create a pages. Okay, so let's say our first page will be what can be home. Okay, you can say home.jsx. So you have home.jsx. So you create your stateless function. So you say here this is my home page. Okay, so let's try to integrate our router. So hope you have seen my router video, right? So so to start with router, we have to do the configuration for this React router, right? So what you can follow this documentation if you want, right? So it will be easier for you. So in router 6 you need to wrap everything, all your application under this browser router, right? So what you required here, so in your index.js where you are calling your app.js, so you need a browser router. So browser router you can directly copy from here. Okay, so yeah, so but you need to import that for sure. So you can do that from here. You can copy this particular import command. So you can copy this import. Okay, so now you need to import. So as you have added here, so but you need to import this. So you can just import that here by copying this, would be easier for you, and remove other things which is not required for you right now. Okay, so we have this browser router imported, and then you are actually wrapping whole your app under browser router. Okay, so now you are ready to use your router. So we can clean this up if you want. Let's clean this up. Okay, so now if you go to the example, you have all these routes and route. Okay, so you can use this way, right? So you can define your routes. Okay, in that you can define your route. Yeah, so similarly, like you have routes and route. So route will help you to understand where you are actually navigating in your application. So let's say the first route we have path slash. If path is slash, you can say element, right? You can say home. Okay, so home page, if you see here, it is importing that. So you can directly use this. So what you notice here is element is calling that home.js. So I think home.js does not, so we have some error, cannot find the home.jsx. Okay, so that's a problem. You remember initially we have created this with caps J. So I think that's what the issue, it keep that in memory. So right now it is fine, so we don't have any problem, but there are just kind of warning. So we can remove this logo because we are not using that. So now if you figure out, now you come back to your application, what you see, if you are on slash, right, this route, so you see this is my home page. Great. So one more thing, to have these values from this post, right, what you required some kind of CSS framework, right? So one thing, you write everything yourself, right? So you write all CSS everything yourself. There is no problem doing that, but most of the time you will be saving your time by using some kind of frameworks which will help you to generate all of that CSS, and maybe available components are there, so which you can use to create your project. So we can figure out. So there are two MUI. Okay, so you can use MUI for your React. Okay, otherwise you can use this React Bootstrap. Okay, there is one more called Bulma. You can also use that, Bulma.io. This is also a CSS framework which will help you to create your application. Okay, so you can use this. You can use React Bootstrap. Okay, if you see these components, so you have all of this here. Like let's say I want to have these cards, okay, in my application, where I will show, instead of images, I'll just show my title and my description, and maybe let's say post I wanted to go inside, so you can use this. Okay, maybe this kind of card. Even MUI have all of these, so only thing is we just need to start installing these. So components, and then you can have, so you can always figure out what kind of framework you want. Maybe your requirement is different, right? So you can use this or that. See, this looks really amazing, right? So if you see their code, it is like that. So a lot of code you see here, but yeah, but this is very static, right? So when you actually work with your React.js and you have loops and everything, you might have you might do not require all of this, right? So MUI looks very great, so in terms of components, everything. But if you go here, like, you have to understand a little more about how they have created all of these, like, okay, so these are the available components they have. If you see here up there, like, they are importing from material MUI, right? Everything you have to import and do that. Other thing is this which which is React Bootstrap. So you can also use this, where you have all of these cards importing from React Bootstrap and then following up you with these styles and list group and everything, right? So similar way here, similarly here. So yeah, so whichever is looks easy to you, you can use that, does not matter. So so this code looks small, so let's try this. I would recommend to use this, okay, but I don't want it to take you into detail, like where you might get confused with this. So let's take the easiest path, so that you understand project better. Either way is fine, you can use anything, right? So the very first thing, whenever you work with Node.js, the easiest part is this, where you have easily install a kind of packages, right? So you just need to stop your server and then say, so we have React Bootstrap installing, right? What is our next step? So if it is installed, right, so you just need to import this on your main app.js, okay? So you have to import this here. For a CSS, you can install this like that, okay? Import in your app. So let's try to do this basic configuration, okay? So I'm including this app CSS, so I'll just quickly import that here, okay? So now Bootstrap is available right now, so we can check that, no issues. So, and this particular app.css we are importing here, okay? So that is it is, okay? So you just need to install on your package, like you just need to install this using npm package, right? And just after that you can import inside your app CSS, okay? If not, you can directly also call that, so that, like this way, okay? This will also work. Okay, now what we can do is, what next? So we can try if this part is working or not. So let me go to this so if you notice, we have some kind of pre-custom, like we have this theme provider which is like kind of component which will help you to organize, or maybe help you to configure your initial things. So you can say that theme provider breakpoints and everything, you can set up that and wrap your application in between, right? So it says that. So if you want, you can do this kind of configuration, so where you can pass all of that minimum breakpoints, children's break, the real breakpoints, like how scalable is your application. So all of that you can see, right? You can install if you want. Otherwise, we will be just using that, so that we would know we are on the correct path. So after this, what we will do, we will just try to go to our home page, okay? So we will also create a layout. Wait, I'm just telling you how this thing work, okay? So let me convert this to fragment, okay? so that we can include more component in between. So import this container and then container, right? So what it will help you, it will help you to why it is written have. Okay, so now you know, we are returning this whole JSX which has container, and container have this div. So it will help you to organize your things inside this container. So if you go back and see your React.js, okay, my server is not running. npm start. Okay, so now if your server is started, so you will notice here it's still starting, so it's taking some time, so that's okay. So there is a problem, cannot resolve this, so that means it says cannot resolve this. So I think, let me, okay, so what we will do, npm I nodes as. So I'm just installing this nodes as also, so that it will support CSS, so that we can organize our CSS a little better way. Okay, it says we just need to get started using this. So these kind of issues you might face, right? So when you actually work with the project, so we need to understand how we can resolve these issues, right? So it required SCSS, so we can install SCSS in React.js. Okay, so this is how you should understand, right? So install, so I was trying that, so node installed SCSS, so this, that is it is okay. So might be my command was wrong, I was saying nodes as, so that's why the issue was coming. Now I think as I think this is installed, right? Yeah, we can verify this just going to this particular package. So you see SCSS here, right? Okay, I think we are good here. Great. So go back to our this thing, so create using SCSS. So we missed reading this line, so that's why the issue was coming. Okay, great. So you can import here or then this import to that, so they have clearly mentioned that here. Okay, okay, now we just need to start our project and it should be working fine, I believe. Yeah, great. So now if you see, we have all of our component running from Bootstrap React. So what you notice here, that container container component have created this div because it's a component, but internally it create div only, right? Div with class container. So I think that was our first step, like where we'll be using the layout, right? So where we required to have grid. Yeah, so this container is what we required, right? And that's how I think it works, right? Container, then row and column. So everything in React, so everything in Bootstrap is a row and column kind of concept. So where you can just think of grid layout, so which is divided into 12 columns. Okay, so and all columns can wrap under row, so row and then columns. Okay, so column can be 4 5, right? So basically because it is 12, so you have to divide by whatever number of column you are getting, right? So if you want 4 column divided by 12, right, so you have to use this column 3, right? So you can see here, right? So if you need 3 columns, so either you can use this way, like call 1 2 3. So if you just, I'm just telling you why, because it will help us in building that particular blog page, right? If you save this and go to your page. Okay, so about this particular library, right? So normal HTML CSS, you no need to do that, but when you are in React, you have to import row and column. Okay, so now if you see that so container, it's not, so I think okay, so fine. So if you are importing these like with brackets, right? So basically if you are destructuring that here, so you have to remove the specific container, sorry, specific component you are importing. So you have to import from React Bootstrap. Okay, so now if you do, it will work fine, right? So yeah, so now what you see here, we have 3 particular columns, so you can have 3 columns, right? And then you have 2 columns here, right? So similarly we might require in our cards, right? So we can still keep that here. Okay, so this is fine. So we know now we know how we can create our containers, and how can we create our row and column, right? So just think of how you will get into the post kind of thing. Like if I go to any kind of blog, right? So if you go to this kind of blog, what you have is, see, you have image, heading of that particular post and that who posted and date and everything, right? So you have all of this. So we also required something like that, like where you have all your latest post available, right? This way. I'm not sure if dummy JSON provide kind of images with the post. I'm not sure. Let's get that single post. Okay, this has everything. This has single post. So I think they just provide title, body, user ID, right? But I don't think we have images coming in. For sure, like it's tough to maintain images over server, right? So why they should use that. So for dummy purpose, I think we are good. We are pretty much sorted here. Okay, great. So we have this thing here. So what we will do, so let's go to the component and let's find out which component can help us to have our post here. Okay, because we don't want this image to be here. So what we can do, I think we can just remove this section. Okay, so let's copy this part. So let's create that here. Okay, so because we required more cards, right? Cards after cards. So if we just copy paste that thing here, so let's say inside this row and column, so you'll paste that here. So let's say you want 2 cards at a time in one row, so you'll paste this here. Okay, we don't want image, right? So we can get rid of that. Yeah, and you need to import that card. Okay, now we have card available, and you can see there are some more dependencies. So button is one, right? No, now you are sorted, right? So now great, so you have all of that imported and you have this here. So let's see how it looks. So it looks great, right? So we have our static card available right now. Okay, so now you know how to create components separately, like with reusable component, right? So you know that now. So what we can do, instead of doing that here like every time in the call, so this whole section, right, so we will keep it outside. Okay, so that we can anytime use that postcard somewhere. So let's create these components. So let's create that card post.jsx. Okay, I think let me delete this and create again, otherwise it will be an issue. Card JSX. Okay, so card post is there. So what we will do here, rsf. So this particular piece of code we will copy from here and quickly paste here. Okay, and now we will also remove the dependencies. So we don't want, I think, row here. Okay, for now at least. So we just want columns to be here. Okay, meanwhile, so as we have this thing here, so we can import that. So instead of this column, right, so even this one, so we don't want that, we can say card post, right? So this card post we will import from here, and then you can still see that. Okay, you can, instead of home page, you can say latest post. Okay, now you have latest post. So we can beautify this later. So let's get the data first, so how it looks. So as I told you before, we have Axios in picture, right? So you can remove extra dependencies which is not required for you. So right now we are here. So this particular piece of code we need to generate dynamically, right? So every card should come dynamically. Let's say you have this particular API, right? You have this post API, so which have so many posts, right? 1 2 3 4. So it has total 150 posts, right? So you can send limit to the 30 or something like that if you want, right? That's what they say. So before even calling this, so let's set up our Axios. Okay, api.js. So we have our api.js, and I gonna copy that section for you. Okay, so that we can save some time. Okay, it's just that. So because Axios we have already installed, so what we need is, we just need this Axios and the base URL. Okay, so base URL we required from here. So this is our base URL. Okay, yeah. So now after that we can say post/1 or post, like anything. So can say API. Okay, so now we have our Axios setup, base setup is done. So you can, I told you in my video, right? So you can watch my previous Axios video where you can set up this thing more, like based on your server configuration, right, and security and everything. So now use effect, can use your use effect, and in that, okay, can have this with single dependency, and then you can create your const get post. Okay, and you can say this, right? So what you can do here, you can call that API, right? So basically you can have this async. If you want, you can make as a async, otherwise you can use promises. Okay, that is also possible. Then or catch or whatever it is, you can also do that way. So const right, you can say posts equals API dot get. So API, it's not importing that, so let me, yeah, so this is what I said. So I think it's not still, it's importing now. Okay, get post, and we required posts, I think, right? So we have this posts. Okay. So here you can say await, and you get this data, right? Console.log posts. Okay, so once you have your data, so you need to call this basically every time your component mount, right? So you need to call this get post, right? So once you call your get post, it will call to your server and get the data, and it will return you here, right? So let's try that. Let me close these, and this one is fine. Okay, let me clean this up. So if you reload, what you see here is you have your data available, right? So you see your data is under your data and posts, right? So you have your post data coming up from that dummy server, right? Now what you need to do, I think you have 30 records here. Okay, and every record have this particular data. So what we can do, we can just create our const, we'll create a state. Okay, posts, set posts, use state. Okay, and it will be an array, right? And what you can say, set post when, okay, when we have this data. Okay, when you say post, if post dot data dot post, right? Yeah, and dot length. Okay, if it is more than 0, then you say set post, you set your data here. Okay, so set posts basically. So whenever you have your length available, right? So whenever you have a data, so generally what we do is we'll just not do that. So we'll just say this. So we'll do all of these condition check. Okay, so even before length, otherwise you might run into a error. So what you see here, so you see post, and then you see if we have a data, then you go there, right? And otherwise you do not go, you have data and then post, right? So this is the hierarchy we have. If we have a length, if it is more than 0, then you set this data to this. Okay, so now you have your poster data available here, right? So great, so we have poster data. So I will also show you inside your React.js tool. So now, and I believe it's already reloaded. So React dev tool. So this tool you should always install on your system, right? So this Chrome tool you have to install, add to the Chrome. So this will help you to understand like your component, what kind of data your component have, or is that receiving props, if this kind of monitoring you required. Okay, and for the debugging purpose, it will be really helpful for you. So you can always go to extensions, right, and configure that. It's already there. So what we can do is If I reload this, I think it should be available. Lighthouse. Okay, yeah, so we have components here. So now what you see, you have your component, right, which is card post. So if you try to see your state, okay, and you have your data, inside data you have your post, right? So you have all of this setup here, right, inside your posts. So what you're saying, you are just directly setting this, so I think you have to just set this one. Okay, so now you are setting your posts directly. So now directly you have your posts available. Okay, so now as you have these posts, okay, so this particular piece of thing you can write under a loop. And in React.js we generally use map. Okay, so if we say, so these brackets are required, you remember. So we say if posts are there, post.map. okay, so map will help you to loop it. Then you have to put your loop here, basically. Sorry, you have to put your DOM here. So everything you can just cut here and return this. Okay, now good thing about is you get your post data. Okay, like because anyway you return every object, so this object you will receive like this one. So you have your title, so you can say post data. So this title will be replaced from post data dot title. Okay, so you have this title available here. Then body, so this body can be post data dot body. Okay, go somewhere. So basically if you wanted to pass this post id, so basically based on id, if you want this post particular post information, let's say we are going to detail page, so this is very minimum detail of that particular post, right? Only title. So you might require your user id and all of that, so you can pass this information further on the button. So what you can do, this particular button might be routing to another page, right? So this can carry that information. So what you can do, instead of passing each and everything, so you can pass this data further, so that we no need to call that data, right? Because you already have the data, right? So you can pass that here, like maybe we can create this as another this thing. Okay, so for now you just leave that. Okay, so go somewhere, it's like read more. Okay, so now as we have mapped everything here, so I believe we should be able to see all of that information on our page. We go back to our page and try to see. So I think we have all the posts available right now. Okay, so if you see here, we have row, and that this extra div is there, because of that it is coming into, so we can convert that to fragment. Okay, now what you see, you have a row and you directly have a columns, right? So now you can see all of your data, right? Great. So I think this video is going way bigger, right? So what we can do, you just practice this part here. So next section, what we will do, we will just click on this, navigate to another page where we have all of our post data, so like this data. So we can trim this data if you want, right? So always you just don't want to show everything. So as Netflix has only limited data, if you click on it, then you will see more data about it, like you can get all of that data, right? So we can also trim that. Okay, so we can just trim it to somewhere like only this much we required, right? So we can do that. And then I think the user id we can show all of that. Dates, I think date we are not receiving here. Yeah. So we don't have date, but we have a reaction. So reaction means tick mark or likes or thumbs up, right? So let's see what all we are getting. So if you go to our components, so we can keep the components here. So card post, it says each child should have unique key. So this error is very important. So this, because of this, sometimes React lose the track. Okay, so what we can do because it is under the map, right? So every element in under the loop should have key, so that it can actually make a unique like it can identify that particular component, okay, or piece of code. So to have that identification, we required a unique kind of mapping. Okay, so if you have inside your data, that's great. Let's say this id is unique always, right? So we can say post data.id, so this is always unique. So if you do that, right, what is that? No, I think there is some problem. Yeah, I think it's fine. So just showing some error. Okay, so now you if you notice, we should not have that error. Let me reload that card post. Yeah, we don't have that error. So that generally comes with that, like if you are running into the loop, so every item you should have a unique key available with that. So that is the only problem. So now we have just reactions. So I think these reactions remain same for everything. Yeah, no, we have a difference. So what we can do, these tags are also here, like you can have some tags. So for tags, what you can do is you can find if we have some kind of I think they don't have kind of components here, but yeah, what you can do is you can keep your hashtags here. Span, so you can keep hashtag is also array, right? So you can monitor your data before even doing some kind of thing, right? So you might have more hashtags because this is an array. So you have this thing here. So for hashtag, if you want, you can create another component. So you can create hashtag. So hashtag components, and you can pass that data. Okay, post data dot tags or tags. Yeah, so you have this, but because this is not available, so we can create that. So what you can do, you can create one more component called hashtag dot jsx. So rsf. Okay, so hashtag will receive as a prop. Okay, tags. So these tags are here. No, I think we have kept as data. So instead of data, tags we can say. So we receive tags as a array. So you can map it here, like instead of div, I think we can have this fragment. Can say if you have tags, okay, tags dot map, similar kind of approach. So you can have this tag, okay, and then you can say return div, and then div or span, can say span. So can return every span with this tag. I think we don't have hash front of it, so we can say hash tag. Okay, hashtag this. And now, as I said, we need a key, so you can say key tag. Okay, so we have this thing available. So now we have some kind of error. Okay, hashtag is not defined. That's okay because we have not imported it. Hashtag, now it should be fine. So what you see here, like if I clean that errors, yeah, now you see we have all the hashtags available, right? So likewise you create an initial setup, right? So where you can call your things, you can organize these using CSS or something. Maybe you can give a gap, or you can do something like, okay, after 3 posts you should be using your different row. So basically if you divide into a row and column kind of thing, right? So then we have to remove this row from here. So row thing should be calculated, okay, after every 3 this thing. So you will create another row, okay, return every different rows, right? So you can also do that. Right now you see we have all the posts available, we have our hashtags, we can say impressions or something like that, which is reaction. So I think till here you might have learned how to set up base projects, how to create our folder structure. If okay, yeah, so you know how to create your folder structure, how to keep components. Const we will define there, okay, and then like const you can define if you wanted to use somewhere some kind of if condition you are checking, okay, if this is equal to this, so that kind of text you can keep inside your const, or there kind of some kind of errors you wanted to show, so that all of that you can keep inside your const means constant which will not change. That is all you will keep inside const, okay. So tomorrow, so in the next video what we will do, we will set up our layout, okay. So where we will have our headers and footers, because this looks weird right now. So as you see we have some header, we have some footer, so we can set up that part if we want, right? So we will set up that under layout using our high order components, right? So that will come in picture. Plus it will also help you to understand how we can do that using router 6, okay. So thank you so much guys, and please do like this video, and I'll be coming with another video on this particular project.